Meghan Markle's fashion freeze-out. She has been dumped by Balenciaga. You stupid cow! Like, how many times have I told you don't be a...
Meghan Markle have been pushed aside by Balenciaga, and the timing could not look more humiliating. Last year, Meghan arrived in Paris as though the fashion world had finally opened a permanent door for her. Wearing custom white Balenciaga, she entered to shouting photographers and worldwide coverage.
Dumped by Balenciaga just 1 year after she thought, I'm going to invite myself appearance at Paris Fashion Week was going to change her career for good.
Her team presented the night as more than one invitation. It looked like the start of a serious alliance with Pier Paolo Piccioli, and proof that Meghan had finally found the elite comeback Hollywood never gave her. But when Pier Paolo reached the biggest Balenciaga moment of his new career, Meghan was missing.
She showed up to the original, his debut show. This was Pier Paolo's first show for Balenciaga. It was a very big deal. She showed up late. Now, number one, you don't show up late, but you definitely don't show up late when Anna Wintour shows up half an hour early. Anna Wintour is kind of seen as the period on the end of the sentence. Nothing comes after Anna. So she sat down and everyone just sat there and waited and waited. And finally, Meghan waltzes in and with her head held high as if she's royalty and stops, does all the photos, all of this, and makes it even later, then sits down, proceeds to giggle as a model trips on the runway. She was quickly silenced by her good friend Marcus. And it just was so bizarre. She didn't even go to the after party.
That was so crude, wasn't it? It's like she is a mean girl bully, Paula.
Before we continue, one quick thing. One thing I've realized is that most families don't have their important information organized in one place. That's exactly why I recommend the Family Vault, a simple, printable, and fillable organizer where you can keep everything from important documents and insurance to medical information, passwords. You'll find the link in the description, or you can simply scan the QR code on your screen. Now let's get back to today's story. His first couture collection for the fashion house attracted major celebrities, intense press, and strong industry attention. Demi Moore, Naomi Watts, Cynthia Erivo, and other famous guests filled the audience. Yet Meghan, recently presented as a close friend and collaborator, was nowhere in the picture. That absence matters because Meghan was already in Europe. She was not stuck thousands of miles away in California. She had staff, security, and every practical reason to attend if the relationship was truly as strong as her publicity suggested.
They learned, as many other brands and people have learned, that unfortunately when doing business with Meghan, there's no attention for anyone else but Meghan. And it is almost always negative.
She did not need to plan a difficult international journey. She simply needed an invitation. Journalist Paula Froelich reported that a fashion source claimed Pier Paolo allegedly wanted the attention to remain on his collection after Meghan drew too much focus at the previous show. Balenciaga has not verified the account, Pier Paolo has announced no ban, and the allegation remains unconfirmed. Still, one question is unavoidable. If this was a major friendship and creative partnership, why was Meghan absent from his biggest night?
And surely, Paula, given the headlines that created, Balenciaga must have looked at that behavior as well and thought this has a negative impact on our brand.
For Meghan, attending would never have been only about clothing. It would have meant flashes, luxury photographs, and instant proof that powerful people still wanted her. After a secret British visit produced no public royal image, one Paris appearance could have changed the conversation while Harry's court loss and awkward podcast headlines dominated attention in the UK. Instead, the fashion world carried on without her.
I think he has made a smart move, although it was a very, I would say, unwise move to have her in the first place. I mean, Paula, people should never forget that she used that moment to very obviously, I think, stoke the deep emotional trauma still suffered by her husband, and also attempt to create all of the wrong headlines.
Pier Paolo received praise without Meghan. Balenciaga filled the seats without Meghan. The stars posed without Meghan. The reviews appeared without Meghan. No public statement was required because the empty place in the audience delivered a much colder message than any official rejection could have done. The previous Paris appearance now looks very different when examined against that silence. After last year's show, Meghan's spokesperson described a relationship with Pierpaolo that had grown over several years.
I still believe that the UK trip was a total epic disaster. And I understand they got the private meeting with the king and queen, but just hear me out on this, right? Because what she didn't receive was the photo opportunity that she so desperately wanted. What she didn't get was the chance to unveil the children's faces at a public royal event or royal adjacent event, which would have then allowed her to spend the next year pimping out the kids as much as possible for her business.
The statement said they had worked closely on important designs and made Meghan sound like more than a guest. It suggested she was a trusted creative figure inside his world. Pierpaolo later gave a less dramatic explanation. Speaking to The Cut, he said Meghan contacted him and told him she would love to attend. He explained that they had known each other for years and had exchanged messages, but the critical detail was clear. Meghan reached out first.
The funniest thing is that she really thought this was going to be yet another reinvention. It would really help her one-off, and she knew one-off was coming. But the thing is she sucked all the oxygen out of the room. Her behavior was so bizarre.
His team agreed, and the visit was kept secret because Pierpaolo liked the surprise. There is nothing wrong with asking a friend whether you can support an event. The problem is the difference between that ordinary explanation and the grand story later built around Meghan's arrival. Her team made the appearance sound like the beginning of a powerful fashion chapter. Pierpaolo made it sound like a friend asked to come and he said yes. That gap is now brutal.
Because what the hell do they do now? What do they do for the next year? Meghan has to keep the kids covered up, which she doesn't want to do, and makes them look weird and creepy and all of those things that we've discussed before.
Meghan did not merely walk into the venue. Her entrance was packaged as evidence that the fashion establishment had selected her again. Cameras surrounded her, international outlets covered the clothing, and the appearance suggested that she had moved beyond Hollywood rejection into a more exclusive European world. 9 months later, the biggest event in that supposed relationship happened without her. The allegations about her conduct during the first show make the situation even more damaging. Frolic's source accused Meghan of arriving late, stopping for photographs, and pulling focus from Pierpaolo's debut.
Remember, he quietly deflated the whole mythology in an interview with The Cut at his after party, saying him and Meghan met some years ago, they've been texting ever since, and she reached out to say she would love to come to the show. So while his team agreed to pay a reported $250,000. Now, look, I know to you or me, that sounds like a lot, but Paula says it's for her flights, hotels, cars, and outfits. Actually, not that much in this world. She says, considering it was part of the PR boost for the show, no one knew it would be hijacked. But fashion observers were irate. A collaborator? Who does she think she is? Beyonce? My source last.
Balenciaga has not confirmed those claims, and Meghan's team has not accepted them. Yet critics find the account believable because coverage that night centered heavily on Meghan's entrance, expressions, security, and royal status. The collection was supposed to be the center of the night, but Meghan quickly became one of its loudest stories. An awkward front row clip also spread online. Meghan appeared to laugh while others remained serious, and users accused her of reacting after a model stumbled.
And Meghan could have gone. Paula reveals she was in Europe, not in London, supporting her husband during what turned into his worst week in 30 years. And while she had the children with her, she travels with a nanny, so it would have been fine. She just wasn't invited again.
Her representative denied that claim, and no confirmed evidence shows what caused the reaction. But in the image business, a few confusing seconds can travel globally before any explanation catches up. The footage looked uncomfortable, spread rapidly, and created another argument about Meghan's behavior. Instead of the designer controlling every headline the next morning, attention again moved toward Meghan and the controversy surrounding her.
She didn't even bother going to the after party. Her team let it slip that she was the collaborator with Pierpaolo. And it's just very odd. You don't take away from someone's big achievement on their first big show for a major design house. So, this time around, they were like, yeah, no, this was his debut couture show. It was very important for him. and it just wasn't going to happen.
That is the risk she brings into a fashion event. Meghan never enters a room as only another guest. Her title, marriage, security, royal conflict, public reputation, and every past controversy arrive beside her. Photographers search for her reaction. Commentators study every gesture. Critics wait for a mistake. Supporters turn the invitation into a victory. The designer can lose control of the story before the first look even reaches the runway.
Meanwhile, she also wasn't invited to a Chanel event, which took place at Highgrove during the time she and Harry were in residence. The legendary fashion house just celebrated the graduating fellows of its art embroidery fellowships in partnership with the King's Foundation in the King's Own Gardens, and Meghan was not there. She must have been too busy with the cookbook the Times of London reported she has been working on.
Last year, that attention may have seemed useful. A surprise Meghan appearance guaranteed worldwide coverage. This year, Pier Paolo did not need the extra chaos. He already had famous actresses, major industry figures, strong reviews, and a career-defining collection. He could allow the clothing to lead without wondering whether another Meghan drama would take over the event. And that is why the reported rejection strikes directly at the identity she has spent years trying to create.
An audience that included real front-row stars like Demi Moore, Cynthia Erivo, and Naomi Watts. But as Paula rightfully notes, noticeably one person was not at the show. His supposed good friend and collaborator, according to her, the Duchess of Sussex.
Meghan has spent years proving that leaving royal duty did not remove her from the global elite. Netflix was meant to establish her as a producer, Spotify as an influential voice, celebrity friendships as a new power network, and her lifestyle company as a business empire. Paris offered what those projects struggled to deliver: instant prestige. Balenciaga gave Meghan a way to look royal without performing royal work. She could wear couture, sit near famous women, and appear in photographs that suggested Buckingham Palace no longer controlled her relevance.
Oh God, no! She was not invited. Not after what happened last time.
A single front row appearance allowed her to present herself as a woman whose influence survived the royal exit. She did not need a balcony when she had Paris. She did not need palace approval when an elite designer appeared to welcome her. But elite access only feels valuable because it can disappear. A duchess title can attract cameras, but it cannot command a second invitation. A spokesperson can use the word collaborator, but that language cannot force a designer to confirm the partnership.
There's no way Pierre would have her back after last year. He wants it to be about the clothes, not her. Who does she think she is? Beyoncé? My source last.
A dramatic entrance can dominate one news cycle, but it cannot guarantee that the same seat will remain available at the next show. The timing was especially painful after Meghan's private return to Britain. Meghan reportedly returned to the UK with Harry and their children, entered Highgrove, and met King Charles and Queen Camilla. The private visit may have helped a divided family, but it gave her brand no official photograph, balcony appearance, walk beside the king, or visible royal endorsement. She arrived quietly and left without a public Meghan moment.
So he definitely got Sussexed in that respect.
I just love Marcus Anderson thinking, "You
Yes.
stupid cow! Like, how many
boy.
times have I told you don't be a bitch in public with the cameras on you?" Like, his face there is just absolute abject horror.
For reconciliation, privacy may be healthy. For a celebrity business built on attention, it is a serious problem. The palace controlled every visible detail. Meghan received access, but she received no image that could be placed on magazine covers or used to announce a triumphant royal return. She had contact with the king, yet the meeting produced no public content. Paris therefore offered the ideal opportunity to replace secrecy with glamour. One Balenciaga appearance could have allowed Meghan to change the story overnight.
Now, a lot of people assumed that because she has a high Q rating and everyone knows who she is, that it would get them a lot of attention and the PR would rub off on them. Unfortunately, it is all negative, and people don't buy the products that she shills. They want to see her and read about her And, even the people who say they don't, they do, because it's all Schadenfreude. But at the same time, they do not want to buy those products that are associated with her.
Instead of being remembered as the hidden visitor at Highgrove, she could have appeared as an international fashion figure, still welcomed by the most exclusive names in Europe. But while the invitation list was filled with other stars, Meghan remained outside the event. Another fashion contrast made the situation look even harsher. At the same time, the King's Foundation hosted a Chanel-supported event at Highgrove for students of embroidery and millinery.
Here is Pierre's first show for Balenciaga, and she basically claims some sort of credit for it. It's unbelievable. No way would he have had her back for couture, never again.
There is no evidence Meghan was expected there, and Chanel did not publicly reject her. Yet the symbolism remained harsh. The monarchy had a real fashion partnership, while Meghan's advertised Balenciaga connection suddenly looked uncertain. The king had the royal institution. Chanel had the official fashion relationship. The students had the real creative work. Meghan had a private visit with no photograph, and a supposed fashion alliance whose biggest new event took place without her.
Meghan Markle's fashion front row freeze out. Meghan has now been fully shunned by the fashion world.
That comparison cuts into the brand she has tried to build. Meghan wants the public to see her as independent from royal life, but the royal title remains the strongest marketing tool around her. Her planned MasterChef Australia appearance is promoted through contestants preparing food described as fit for a duchess. The hook is not a dish fit for a producer, entrepreneur, or television personality. The hook is still the Duchess title. She walked away from royal duties, yet royal status continues to sell the product. She criticizes the restrictions, but keeps the label. She asks for privacy while building businesses that require publicity.
It has been an astonishing week for the British royal family and for Prince Harry and Meghan in so many ways. Lots and lots of ups, let's be honest, because they did get the meeting with the king. Meghan got this completely unlikely and bizarre daytime Emmy nomination for a TV show that I certainly didn't think was a daytime series, but chalk that up as a little win. But the lows, Paula, the lows are so low.
She wants recognition as a serious founder, but television still introduces her through the prince she married. Every project tries to create a fresh Meghan identity, yet the old royal connection remains the part producers trust most. Balenciaga was supposed to prove she no longer needed that connection. Paris could have become Meghan's replacement court, filled with designers, celebrities, and influential friends. The fashion world could have shown that her status came from personal power rather than Buckingham Palace. Instead, Pierpaolo reached the defining couture moment of his Balenciaga career, and Meghan's title apparently could not secure her a place in the room.
She had tried lots and lots of different fashion houses, but Balenciaga was the one. Yet, as usual, and this reminds me a bit like when she did the guest edit of Vogue with Edward Enninful back in her time within the royal family. Anytime she gets close to that world, she manages to be so repulsive in her behavior. All of these fashion types, and let's be honest, Paula, I mean, they are up their own ass. They are. I can't really deal with fashion types, but they are repulsed by her behavior, and they will not put up with it.
She does have one positive headline. With love, Meghan received a Daytime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lifestyle Program. The nomination is a genuine positive headline, but it also reveals her direction. It is for lifestyle television, while MasterChef centers on food and as ever sells spreads, tea, honey, baking products, and wine. Reports also mention a cookbook. Meghan is moving further toward kitchens, gardens, and carefully arranged domestic content. There is nothing automatically wrong with that lane. The issue is that Meghan still seems determined to occupy every identity at once.
So I know all of the briefing is, oh no, it's Meghan who didn't want to reveal the children's faces. Well, we all know that's a total lie because we can see how close she's come to doing it time and again on Instagram. So she didn't get that.
She wants to look relatable while cooking at home and untouchable while arriving at couture. Television sells warmth, but still promotes her royal rank. She wants privacy during a British family meeting and maximum visibility in Paris. She expects ordinary authenticity and elite treatment to work together. The Balenciaga absence may reveal where that strategy stops working. Fashion houses do not need to publicly argue with Meghan. They can quietly select another celebrity.
Because do you remember she was really angry when the MasterChef producers used the term royalty to plump up her visit. But I'm sorry, if she's using Duchess, in my view, that still goes against the, well, I would argue the not just the moral of the Sandringham Summit, but actually the letter of the law when it comes to the Sandringham Summit. And also, Paula, by the way, I think she would have been paid for this a lot of money.
Oh,
I mean, this was not something she was doing for charity.
no, no, she doesn't do charity. Her charity is at home, isn't it?
They can dress another actress, give the seat to someone else, and allow a different face to attract attention without bringing years of royal conflict into the venue. The door can close without a press release. That possibility must be frightening because a missing invitation is difficult to rebrand. Meghan can describe a canceled podcast agreement as a new beginning. She can present a private royal meeting as progress. She can call criticism proof that people misunderstand her authenticity. She can release polished videos, flowers, and carefully edited lifestyle images. But she cannot rewrite another person's guest list.
The other issue is with that, she also has HRH stationery that she has sent to friends before. So, I think she's just getting quite hypocritical and likes to get angry with everyone but herself, doesn't she?
She cannot create a couture invitation by posting luxury photographs. She cannot place herself into a front row that functioned perfectly without her. She cannot turn an obviously empty space into proof of a powerful alliance. The strongest message from last year's Paris trip was never the white dress. It was access. Meghan entered a room filled with famous people and appeared to answer every critic who said the royal exit had reduced her importance. The photograph suggested she had found a new palace, a new circle, and a designer ready to place her near the center of his next chapter.
Completely rejected by the fashion world. And this has got to hurt, Paula, because 9 months ago, this was meant to be the reinvention of Meghan Markle, the end of Was Never, and the start of this dream that she had of transferring into high fashion. Not going to happen.
For one evening, Paris looked like the comeback Hollywood had failed to give her. This year, that image collapsed. Pierpaolo enjoyed his moment without Meghan. Balenciaga attracted attention without Meghan. Major celebrities occupied the front row without Meghan. The fashion industry moved forward and did not pause to explain why the woman once promoted as a collaborator was absent.
How do you rate where Meghan stands now? Because we've got the axe scene from the fashion world. She continues to push Was Never. The emails started again this week. And she has this MasterChef Australia appearance coming up later this month. She's trying to pump this as well. It's the biggest TV show in Australia. But I think the fact that she's making or getting the contestants to make, look at that, a dish fit for a duchess. How on earth can she claim that that isn't cashing in on royalty, that isn't a direct contravention of the Sandringham Summit?
That hurts, because Meghan's public position depends heavily on the belief that powerful institutions still want her. When the palace keeps its distance, her team can point toward Hollywood. When Hollywood looks less interested, they can point toward fashion. When fashion becomes uncertain, television and lifestyle projects can be presented as the next great chapter. Every closed door is followed by publicity about another open door, but those doors now appear smaller.
Emails that come out, it's the same crap, really, over and over. It's honey, something about being sweet, honey, tea, flower petals, buy my booze. There's only so many emails exhorting you to do this. And again, it's the perfect summer day with her with a basket of fruit, apples, which makes no sense because she's not making applesauce. So, it's just, and she also is still using, frankly, if you look at all these photos and videos, they're all still from the Netflix shoot.
The enormous Netflix future has narrowed into a lifestyle series fighting for attention. The influential podcast ambition ended, leaving old clips and another abandoned partnership. The major fashion alliance may have been one spectacular appearance rather than a permanent relationship. The public royal comeback became a private meeting that produced no official photograph. Meghan still has access to expensive clothing, celebrity gatherings, and future invitations. There is no honest evidence that every designer has banned her, and the fashion source could be exaggerating.
every business in the States has a 5-year runway to lose money. You are allowed to lose money for 5 years. You
Mm,
can run
mm.
a lot through that business to get it all off on taxes, to get tax breaks. So she's got about maybe 2 years left, in which time I believe she will sunset this company and raise up through another.
The missing invitation may have a private explanation, and Pierpaolo may still consider her a friend. Those possibilities have to be admitted, but none of them remove the central embarrassment. Meghan's publicity presented the first Balenciaga appearance as the beginning of a lasting partnership. Then, the most important event in the future of that supposed partnership arrived, and Meghan was not there. Whatever happened privately, the public result was the same. The collection, the stars, and the cameras continued without her. Last year, Meghan used Paris to prove she remained important. This year, Paris showed that it could create a major moment without her.
Let's be real clear about being nominated for an Emmy,
Yeah,
shall we?
please. What's going on here, Paula?
It's a marketing campaign, as is everything, as is all of their awards, whatnot. It's like almost as if Harry has turned into a professional award winner. And Emmys are quite easy to get nominated for, to be fair, as long as you've got the money, or the production house has the money, or Netflix has the money.
Before we continue, I want to mention something really quick. Organizing your family's important information is one of those things most of us know we should do, but we keep putting it off. That's exactly why there's the Family Vault. It gives you one place to organize your important documents, insurance, medical information, passwords, and more, so everything is easy to find when it's needed. You'll find the link in the description, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. That's all. Now, let's get back to today's story. Last year, she stepped into a storm of flashes. This year, those flashes were aimed at everybody else. Last year, her representatives emphasized collaboration. This year, the alleged collaborator did not appear in the room. So what does Meghan do next? Does she appear beside another designer to prove she is still wanted? Does she release luxury photographs to bury the missing invitation?
She is reportedly working on a cookbook, which will be interesting. I mean, there's only so many one-pot pastas you can do. However, she still wants to be in this arena.
Does she lean into the Emmy nomination, MasterChef, and cookbook reports because lifestyle television now offers reliable attention? Or does she accept that one Paris entrance never made her a permanent fashion power? Balenciaga never needed to release a statement saying Meghan Markle had been dumped. The event itself created the headline. Pierpaolo had the collection, the celebrities, the praise, and the cameras.
It's a very opaque process, and frankly, almost everyone gets nominated for an Emmy.
Meghan had the memory of last year's entrance and an empty place where her comeback story was supposed to continue. After a secret UK reunion delivered no photograph, television continued selling her through a royal title, and her biggest fashion connection appeared to move on without her. Meghan faced the one image she could not personally control. She wanted the spotlight. She wanted the flashes. She wanted visible proof that she still belonged among the global elite. But when the most important invitation was sent, Meghan Markle was not part of the story.